In a small house, nestled deep within the forest, the night was calm, filled only with the soft rustling of leaves, and the distant calls of nocturnal creatures. Inside, a young pregnant lady sat alone in a chair near the bed, her face bathed in the gentle glow of a candle's light. Her hand gently caressed her rounded abdomen, fingers tracing the contours of the life growing within her. Her eyes were soft and expectant, filled with love and longing, occasionally drifting toward the window, as if anticipating someone's arrival. Her lips began to hum a gentle tune, a lullaby, passed down through generations. The melody was a comfort, a song for the child she would soon cradle in her arms, and a soothing balm for herself, calming the subtle nerves that quivered within her. Then, the door creaked softly as it eased open, framing the silhouette of a robust man in his prime, adorned in a long-sleeve, loose peasant shirt. His face softened as he stepped inside, his eyes losing the keen edge of battle as they took in the familiar surroundings. It was Turul, yet he was not a legend or a symbol in this secluded haven, but simply a loving husband returning to his family. The lady turned towards him, her face lighting up, a welcome joy spilling into her eyes.
A boy. Turul. A boy.
The voice filled with delight, intuition exclaiming the child's gender.
His first move is quite strong.
A smile widened as her gaze finally settled on her husband, reflecting the joy of the news and the comfort of his arrival. The homecomer's eyes widened, his smile spreading as he knelt before his wife. His face alighted with joy, his warrior's posture softening into that of a tender husband.
Wonderful, Ilona. I'll have a son.
The words spoken with pure elation. The rest of the world, with its battles and demands, seemed to fade away as they stood in their small home, united by a love that transcended everything else. Turul lowered his head to Ilona's expectant abdomen, his ear pressed close, listening intently to the new life within. His eyes closed with a profound sense of joy and anticipation. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, he began to sing.
Tenti. Baba, Tenti.
It was a soothing melody that had lulled many children to sleep in the arms of their loving parents. A promise of love and protection. Suddenly, his face brightened into an open smile as he felt a small movement beneath his touch. The sensation was gentle but distinct, like a tiny fluttering bird. His eyes sparkled with joy and disbelief as he looked up at his beloved.
Ah. Young Turul hears me.
His voice filled with emotion. Together, they reveled in this intimate moment, a connection with their unborn child that went beyond everything else. Time seemed to blur and slow as the young husband slowly raised himself up, a hint of reluctance in his eyes. His gaze lingered on the beautiful face as he brushed a stray lock of hair from her forehead with a tender and affectionate touch.
Thank you, my love, for everything,
he whispered. The words held a depth of meaning, carrying with them a subtle hint of something more. Something akin to a farewell. A complex mix of understanding, acceptance, and a hint of hurt shimmered in Ilona's gaze. She reached up to caress his cheek, her voice soft but tinged with loneliness.
And I love you, Turul. Always,
she said. Her love for him was undiminished, and her understanding of his burdens made her acceptance all the more profound. Their lips then met in a kiss, slow and lingering, filled with the passion and intimacy of a connection that went beyond mere physical attraction. It was a kiss of love, of promise, of shared dreams and unspoken fears. A kiss that held within it all the complexities of their life together, all the joy and pain, all the hope and uncertainty. Finally, with a gentleness that belied his powerful frame, Turul swept Ilona into his strong arms. Her body fit perfectly against his, as her hand moved softly across his broad back. He carried her to the bed, their eyes dancing with mutual affection and understanding. As he gently laid her down, their bodies still entwined, the world around them seemed to fall away, leaving only the two of them in a space all their own. The young lady lay on her side as she looked up with a smile that spoke of her sacrifice, unwavering support, and quiet strength. Her eyes sparkled with love and joy at having her husband near, yet, behind that happiness, lay a tinge of sadness and uncertainty. She knew the man she loved was often called away to fight for causes more significant than their own, and each parting brought a fear of the unknown. Turul bent down, his eyes filled with love and something more profound that hinted at a hidden fear. He gave her a soft, lingering kiss, infused with a tenderness that reached into the very core of her being.
Good night, my love,
he whispered. The words were familiar, yet they carried an unspoken uncertainty, a realization that each farewell might be the last.
good night.
Ilona replied softly. A moment frozen in time, filled with all the unspoken words and emotions that flowed between them. With that, Turul slipped out of the room, leaving behind the woman who had chosen to share her life with him, knowing that her love was part of a greater sacrifice. Her smile still followed him as his hand reached for his shirt, pulling it off, revealing the sculpted muscles of a fighter. He donned his sleeveless warrior's vest, the symbol of his life's mission, his commitment to something greater than himself. The young rebel stepped outside, pausing by the window, where the soft flickering candlelight danced, casting a warm glow that reached him like a tender embrace.
Forgive me, Ilona. Forgive me, son.
His voice caught in his throat. He lingered for a moment, but with a determined exhale, he turned away from everything he loved. He was not a fierce warrior, but a loving husband, a proud father to be, a man torn between duty and desire.